Hey guys, it's Giovanni. All right, in this lesson, I'm gonna give you the social circle blueprint. So these are exact tactics that I used when I moved to a new city to build a whole new social circle from zero. This first technique I learned from Tucker Max. So on a spreadsheet, on one column, I write all the things that I'm into. Salsa, martial arts, hiking, swimming, pool parties, reading, farmers markets. Then on the second column, I write down the ratio, expected ratio, female ratio of these activities. So for example, salsa dancing, probably 60% women. Martial arts, 10% women. Farmers market, 50-50. What I do is I do a Venn diagram of those two activities, and I find activities that I enjoy doing myself that have a decent ratio for me meeting the right girl. And then when I go to these events, there are many events, right? There are different places for salsa, different farmers markets. Each one I have a subline, subcell, and then I'll give it a rating when I go. Like, oh, and this time, this rating, this time, this rating, right? So then after about 2 to 3 weeks of scouting missions, I basically find the best salsa places in LA to meet the type of girls I want. I find the best farmers markets where I can meet the type of girls I want. And this gives my dating process a lot of momentum when I move to a new city. The second tip I have for you is I usually do these two things. I look at all of the farmers markets that are near colleges or areas where there might be girls my age. And then I look at all the museums and night bars. I don't like clubs particular like in LA, there's a lot of hotel lounges. So I look at all the museums, hotel lounges, and the cool things, and then I go what we call on scouting missions. There's a location and there's a timing of the location. And when I go on these scouting missions, I go perhaps Friday, 6 p.m. I talked to a few people there. I asked them, when is this place really popping? The next week, I'll come back around 8 p.m. Next week, around 10 p.m. And I identify the time spots where things are actually happening. The third technique that I use is something that requires, to go up to someone. But I'll go up to a girl that looks like the type of girl that I may want to meet. And then I'll ask her, hey, I'm just curious, I want to meet girls that have your sense of style. I'm not hitting on you. I don't want anything from you. But I'm new in town. I'm just wondering, what are some of the cool social events that you enjoy doing on the weekend? And I do this with like multiple girls that I see that I find attractive. Why? Because I want to find out where do girls like her hang out. And by collecting this information, what you'll start to see is you'll start seeing little patterns of places and names that come up over and over again in whichever city you're in. And those are what we call the social hotspots. Now, the social hotspots can change from month to month. But the thing is, if you start doing this consistently, you always have like your ear to the pulse, and you know like where things are happening, and you start meeting the right people. The fourth tip I have for you is I do what I call game nights. So I love board games. When I got to LA, a lot of the board games nights we went to were mostly like, nerdy guys. So what I did was I started hosting board game nights at our place. And we started inviting really cute model girls, actresses, to board game nights. And we explained it to them in a way that they understood. So we started out with simple games like Exploding Kittens. We graduated to more complex games like Coop and Settlers of Catan. And what we found was that we were able to create our own little group doing our passion while inviting, really cute girls to those events. Some people have said they have success with Facebook groups. I have in particular. For example, I'm Asian, so there's an Asian group. There are a lot of Russian groups. Whatever, think about what makes you unique, right? Your ethnicity, your background, perhaps your religion, perhaps salsa dancing even, and you join these Facebook groups and then you go in and look at the previous threads. And sometimes I'll even do a quick intro. Hey guys, I'm new in town. I'm just wondering what are some of the cool places to go salsa dancing on Friday and Saturday nights. And just by reaching out, you'll find a lot of people will reach out back. And some of these will become your good friends, or some of them will be acquaintances, but they may lead you to your future partner or a good friend. 3 mentalities I have when I do this is I really treat this as a serious activity. Like, in other words, my social life is not something that's by chance, right? It's very deliberate. My friend used to tell me I used to treat it like a job. Think of it as a side hustle. Like, I want to devote 2 hours every day to this thing. And you don't have to devote 2 hours for the next year. You just have to devote 2 hours for the first few weeks. And those first few weeks, you build up your foundations that will last you for the next few years, okay? It's worth the investment. Think of it as a investment in your social circle. The second mentality is I always think about giving before receiving. What can I give to this meetup group? What can I give to this party? How can I offer value? Can I connect someone with somebody else? I'm giving value, trusting that it will come back to me. It's the universal law of reciprocity. The third tip I have is always I'm looking for people that support me. There's always going to be supporters, fans, and there's always going to be people that don't find you for whatever their own reasons. They have an antagonistic slant towards you. I try to not fight with these people, but I try to just love them as they are, and I sometimes even empathize with them. But what I'm really focusing my mind on is people that are supporters, who are actually supportive of me, who want to be friends with me, who see my vision or find something interesting about me. Our minds are evolved to spot danger. So when someone makes a bad comment, we think about it all day. But when people say good things about us, we're like, oh, thank you, but you're still thinking about that negative comment, right? So you have to train your brain to focus on the things that are going well, focus on your advantage. And as you do that and you take these steps, what you'll find is that over a period of about 30 days to 60 days, you will start building the circle of friends that really admire you, respect you, and vice versa. And you'll start developing these really cool friendships along the way, okay? Combined with the rest of the lessons that I teach you in the first day formula, you'll be able to go anywhere you want, create a solid group of friends, no matter how old you are, whatever your situation is right now, and you'll have that skill set for the rest of your life.